What's going on YouTube? Today I bring you my number 10 power rank team for the 2021 NFL season. As you saw by the title, that is the San Francisco 49ers. Despite them having a rookie quarterback and not the best quarterback in the world if Trey Lance isn't starting, this is an extremely talented roster, and it's very rare for a rookie quarterback to get this kind of a roster. And being that I actually have turned around on my thoughts on Trey Lance since the draft process. And so we're going to get into that today. Without further ado, let's get started. So starting off with the quarterback room, as we were just talking about, it's sounding a lot like Trey Lance has a good shot at starting week one. Does it sound like he's deserved it through training camp? Yes. But do I think it's the right move? No. The thing with Trey Lance that I didn't like coming out of college was he was extremely boomer bust. He was basically Josh Allen, or not Josh Allen. He was extremely similar in a lot of ways, very mobile and just this giant arm, this can of an arm. And I did like the traits about him, but he was so inexperienced coming out of college. So while he's shown good things, I still don't think it's a good idea for him to start week one. If you're really wanting to start him this season, which I feel like at some point he will take over this season, I feel like the more likely scenario is that you play Jimmy G either until the trade deadline or until he's obviously just not getting it done. And then you trade him and have Trey Lance step in. I still think Trey Lance would be best if he sat out for a season to really get to know that Shanahan offense and stuff, which can be very complicated, especially for a quarterback of his experience. Being his inexperience, he's a fantastic scheme fit in the Shanahan offense. One thing I didn't like was, people were acting like Trey Lance was like the only fit, like Mac Jones and Justin Fields weren't a fit either. But regardless, Trey Lance, extremely high upside and a talented guy, and I really do believe in him as the future for the 49ers. Jimmy G, if he can show some, at least more decent things this last season here with the 49ers, that'd be great, obviously. If you're able to keep Trey Lance out for a year, because you're going to get better play from Garoppolo, obviously, at that point, and it's better for Lance development. And then behind them, two younger guys, Josh Rosen, Nate Sudfeld. Whatever. But you do have a decent duo here, one with extremely high potential that'll probably be starting sometime this season. I think he could go on a bit of a run and be kind of that dominant surprise guy. But I do like Trey Lance. So I'm going to give this quarterback room a C- for right now, but obviously that'll probably go up by the end of the year. At running back, this is a nice deep running back room, actually. Raheem Mostert, extremely fast guy. Maybe a bit overrated by some fans, but still a great running back. They picked up Trey Sermon, who I was a big fan of. I think he's coming here to probably be your running back of the future. The 49ers are a team that likes to switch in and out their running backs a lot. That's why they brought in Wayne Gallman and brought back Jeff Wilson, who had some great games actually at times last year. And Wayne Gallman was solid enough for the Giants last year when Saquon went out. So you have a really nice running back room here, maybe a bit of an overrated starter, and a running back that's probably your future, but I don't really expect anything to do year one. It's a nice depth room, and there is a solid number one guy. So for me, that's going to be a B. At the wide receiver room, Brandon Ayuk is one of my breakout players this year. I'm actually going to be making a video of one breakout player from each team, but like the lesser known breakouts, because like Brandon Ayuk is an obvious breakout candidate. He was pretty solid overall last year anyways, but now that you're going to have a guy that can really chuck it up to you like Trey Lance, and that's what Brandon Ayuk does, is he's that big physical go up and get it guy, and he's really good at it. I expect a breakout year from Brandon Ayuk. If Trey Lance plays, of course. Brandon Ayuk is an extremely talented receiver. Deebo Samuel, also a very talented receiver and really nice speed threat to have alongside Ayuk there. Mohamed Sanu has been up and down his last couple years in the NFL. He's been switching around a lot of rosters. So that's the thing with the 49ers receiving room, is that it has a really, really nice duo, both young guys as well, to headline it, and then the depth beyond that is just very meh. There's a lot of notable guys here, at least. Trent Sherfield, Jalen Hurd, Reggie James, Travis Benjamin, River Craycraft. Juwan Jennings. There's a lot of notable guys here. The one big one I want to point out is Austin Watkins, who I was a big fan of out of UAB, I believe. He's got some nice upside, and I think this 49ers scheme is pretty good for him. So I don't be surprised if he ends up making the roster. But yeah, so you have a really nice duo to headline it, but the depth behind it is notable, but it's nothing special, obviously. And because these guys just have, neither one's really broken out yet, it's going to lower the grade, but I do expect one of them to break out, and I'm going to pick Ayuk for that. So for right now, I'll give it a B as well. At tight end, you have George Kittle, who, in my opinion, is the second best tight end in the NFL. I love George Kittle. He's fantastic, but to me, I really don't see the argument for him being the number one tight end. Is he a better blocker than Kelsey? For sure. Kels, I gotta say Kels now. Is he a better blocker than Kels? Yeah, for sure. He's the best blocking tight end in the league. He is an extremely powerful after the catch guy, and I always have to state every time I say someone's not as good as people think. And even then, I'm still calling him the number 2 tight end in the league, pretty easily actually, above guys like Darren Waller and Mark Andrews. He is a great tight end. I just don't think he's number 1. Still a fantastic tight end. Let's hope he stays healthy for the 49ers this year. Ross Dwelley, whatever. No one else really worth talking about here. I guess Jordan Reed either was on a 1-year contract or retired. But yeah, George Kittle headlines a whatever tight end room, but you have one of the best in the business right there. So that's going to be an A, not an A+ because of the depth. Again, fullback we don't normally talk about, but Kyle Juszczyk is the best fullback in football. It's not even close. So, that's got to get you something right there. That'll be an A because, it's the best fullback in the league right there. At the left tackle position, Trent Williams, arguably the best tackle in the league. I would give that title to David Bakhtiari personally, but I would give Trent Williams the number 2 status. And being that he's not very far behind David Bakhtiari. Bakhtiari is just fantastic. But Trent Williams, though, he is also fantastic. So he's great to have here, obviously. No one behind him, but again, one of the best in the business. That's going to earn you an A, not an A+ because of the depth. At left guard, Laken Tomlinson, who's been with the team now, and he's been solid. I still think you can get someone better than him, but he's whatever. Once again, not really anyone behind him, though, so it's going to drop down to a C- for me. And by the way, sorry that I sound sick. At the center position, bringing over Alex Mack from the Falcons. He's old. He's definitely regressed since, at the beginning of his career, so he's fine. He's a bit of an upgrade over a guy like Richburg, who I believe was starting center last year. But he's not that much of an upgrade. At least you have some nice depth behind him with Daniel Brunskill and Jake Brendel. So the depth is going to bring it up, but it's still met to me, so it's a C+. At right guard, Aaron Banks was a bit of a reach in my opinion. I did like him, but I don't feel like he should have been picked where he was. But he'll still develop into a good guard for the 49ers. They're pretty good doing that. Tom Compton as a backup, pretty solid. Don't really know who Jalen Moore is, to be honest, but Tom Compton has been a solid starter at times, so making him your backup pretty good. So that room will get you a C for right now. And then a right tackle, Mike McGlinchey. He's played really solid for his first few years in the NFL. Once again, no one behind him, but he is, one of the better right tackles in the NFL. So that'll get you a B-. So this offensive line, on paper isn't the best, but he definitely plays better than it looks, especially because you have a guy like Trent Williams, and you have some fantastic blockers, obviously, with guys like Juszczyk and Kittle. Add some solid receivers, great depth, really good running back room. Trey Lance is being thrown into a very, very good situation here that Jimmy G just, quite frankly, never really used correctly. So the offense, very good. But it's not the highlight of this team because that's obviously the defense, which is very talented. Depth chart looks a little weird here. I don't know why Abukum would be playing defensive end. But regardless, I don't know. Apparently ESPN is supposed to be more accurate, but that doesn't really make sense having Abukum as a D end and Armstead as a D tackle. But okay. Anyways, so starting at one defensive end room, I'm going to keep Eric Armstead over here. I don't know why he moved to defensive tackle. You've got good depth there, anyways. So at one defensive end room, you have Eric Armstead, D Ford, not Samson Abukum. Don't know who I don't even know how to pronounce that. Calhoun. So whatever, Calhoun, but D Ford and Eric Armstead do make up one of the best, if not the best, pass rushing duo on a single position of defensive end. So that's great to have. Obviously, Armstead, I think a bit overrated by some fans, but still a great pass rusher. And D Ford, obviously an experienced veteran that can step in at any time. A great depth piece to have there. So that'll get you a B plus for right now, and because neither one of them is really anything special. At defensive tackle, Javon Kinlaw, was not a big fan of Kinlaw as a pick. I mean, I just didn't ever see that upside from him or anything. So he's whatever to have there. Your number 2 is probably going to be Zach Kerr, who I feel like his entire career has been kind of underrated. I hope he, because I project he'll probably be starting across from Kinlaw. I really hope he kind of gets his chance to prove that he is a solid starter. So there's him. And then some solid depth behind that. DJ Jones, Maurice Hurst, and Contavious Street all make for some nice depth pieces there. So defensive tackle room, not the best in the world, but Kinlaw is still solid. You've got some solid depth. So I'll give it a C plus for right now. And then at the other defensive end room, Nick Bosa, one of the best in the business already. He is an extremely talented dude. I was raving about him and Chase Young earlier. I still think Chase Young is better, but Nick Bosa is nothing to sleep on. I think he'll be better than his brother, to be honest. Arden Key, Eddie Yarbrough, whatever. But Arden Keys is someone to at least take note in as a backup. But you have Nick Bosa, who's one of the best in the business of whatever backup. It's going to be an A, again, just because, not fantastic depth, but still one of the best in the business. At the linebacking position, I don't know why Aziz Al-Shair would be starting over Abukum. He's a linebacker to me, and a pretty good one at that, actually. I guess unless you want to start him at the end, I just don't really understand that, unless, I have his measurables totally messed up in my head. You're going to have Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, and Samson Abukum starting for you with some depth with James Burgess, Aziz, and not really anyone else besides that, to be honest. But Fred Warner, obviously, in my opinion, the best linebacker in football right now. Dre Greenlaw, no one to sleep on. And once again, Abukum, a pretty underrated guy. Maybe he's more of that 3-4 outside linebacker, but I don't feel like he's a 4-3 DN. So, but you do have a really solid linebacker there with a bit of depth. But, when you have the best one in the business, some pretty solid guys, to me, that's enough to earn you an A, even if the starters are not the best in the world. And at the cornerback position, not looking too hot for these 49ers. Now, Jason Verrett enjoyed finally a good season last year once he was healthy. It's kind of sad, but I feel like if Jason Verrett was healthy as his career so far, I feel like he would have been a top 10 corner year in and out, because that's what he played like last year. So if he can stay healthy again, that's great for these 49ers. Obviously, you have a top 10 corner there. Even if you do have that top 10 corner, the rest of the depth chart is looking pretty not that good. Ambry Thomas, whatever, he was a fine, an early pickup, in my opinion. I feel like these 49ers reach a lot is the issue. Emmanuel Mosley is whatever. Quan Williams could step up. Other than that, really not anyone worth talking about. So you have a guy that, if he's healthy, is a top 10 player, and obviously these guys' play will be enhanced by a really good pass rush. But it's just that corner room is not looking very good, and especially if Brett struggles to stay healthy, that's not going to be a good situation for the Niners. What is a good situation for the Niners is their safety room. I'm a big fan of their safety room. I think they've got 5 really good guys, actually. You have Jaquiski Tart and Jimmy Ward headlining, obviously, who, Jimmy Ward, very good safety, Tart, solid safety. You picked up Talanoa Hufanga, who I was a fan of. I think he fits this 49er scheme really good. Tavon Wilson, also a solid guy. Bringing in Tony Jefferson, who hopefully he's healthy now, ready to come back and compete. Probably not going to be the same guy he was with Baltimore, but still can come in here to add some nice depth to the Niners safety room. This is a really solid safety room with some fantastic depth and a really good, one of the better duos in the NFL. So that's going to get you an A, because neither one of those safeties are special or anything, but that is a really good safety room. That once again, their play will be enhanced by the pass rush. So defense, I mean, corner room is a bit of concern, but this is a very talented defense, and if Verrett stays healthy, obviously that helps out a ton. But yeah, very talented defense. So both offense and defense doing good here. On special teams, Robbie Gould, pretty solid kicker. Mitch Wisniewski, really solid punter. I guess, Richie James looks like the kick returner, and special teams itself is fine here for the 49ers. So yeah, like I said, I mean, just talented offense, talented defense, a lot of depth. Corner is a position of need for sure. And I think they've reached a lot on a lot of these picks. Kinlaw, Ambry Thomas, Aaron Banks. A lot of these were reaches, in my opinion, including Trey Lance, who I did like. I just didn't feel like he was worth the number 3 pick. Let me rephrase that. I didn't like him because I didn't feel like he was worth the number 3 pick. If it were me, I would have probably not taken him till, end of the first round, just because he is such a boomer bust guy. But for the 49ers, I believe in Shanahan to develop Trey Lance. So I think he's obviously a really nice scheme fit. So I like the future of these Niners. They're young, they're competitive, they're deep, full of talent. So now let's go take a look at their schedule, coaching, and culture. And taking a look here at the schedule, once again, another thing that helps out this team is the fact that they don't have that tough of a schedule. Tough games for sure. I mean, all the division games are going to be tough, although I wouldn't say the Cardinals are as tough a game, just because Cliff Kingsbury always loses to his division rivals. But this is actually not the hardest schedule. I mean, again, division games, obviously, Packers, Titans, Vikings will be tough games. But you're also playing teams like the Lions, the Eagles, the Colts, the Bears, the Texans, the Falcons, the Bengals, the Jaguars. So there's a lot of easy games here that are very winnable for this team. And even the tougher games are also winnable because, you can always win a game against a division rival unless you're the Lions or the Texans. It's always possible. That's if you're a bad team, that's some of the games you're looking to win the most are your division games. So I don't have a doubt that they could beat the Rams at least once. It's definitely possible they even do it twice. This is a 49ers team that, depending on how Trey Lance plays his first year, if we get a Justin Herbert type year from Trey Lance, this is a team that could be legit competitive come playoff time. With an easy schedule, it'll be decently easy for them to get there, even if Jimmy G is not playing the best as your starter, if he is your starter. Coaching is no issue. I mean, Kyle Shanahan is one of the supreme offensive minds in the league. Obviously, he's really evolved that Shanahan system into being the thing that the league basically copies right now, besides Sean McVay's offensive system. Still a fantastic coach, that just knows how to win games and make the right calls and stuff. The culture here in San Francisco is great. It's just everything's on this team's side. The reason they are lower here at 10 is obviously, the two big things that, the quarterback, we don't necessarily know what we're getting from Lance and Garoppolo this year. And also, the corner room does definitely lack some depth, and that is going to hurt them at times, especially against teams like the Seahawks or, the Vikings, the Rams. But regardless, this is a very talented team, top to bottom. I expect good things from them this year, and I expect even greater in the future. So this is a very talented team that is ready to compete now and for the future, and that is why the 49ers are here at number 10. That is going to be the video, though, guys. If you like the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see all you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.